Today, we're going to be going through the 2023, the new year digital marketing plan for fencing and decking companies. In this, it's going to be, as I said, it's going to be very, very thorough stuff going on in here. We're going to actually go through some steps to plan out your marketing plan and really dial it in. So for the new year, you have a plan. It's not just, I wish I did this or I want to do this, and it's not written down, it's not clear. And then, it's easy to forget. So buckle up for some good stuff. All right, this would just work. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to cover here, we're going to set your goals for the new year and actually decide what you need to do to bring in those leads and how many leads you need to hit your target, hit your revenue goals. Also, the three big fundamentals to marketing success. And then we're going to dive real deep into the website conversion, website optimization in order to convert in the new year. And then go through all the marketing channels, different ways you can maximize your lead flow, and the latest trends. So this is for the new year. This is all up-to-date information, stuff that's working well with Google, search engines, and all these other tools we utilize. And then, as I said, we're going to create a custom action plan based on your business, give you the time to go through and really plan that out and figure out what you need to do right now and, in the months coming forward on the new year. So I would highly recommend you take some notes, piece of paper and a pen, blank Word document, any note-taking software you have. I use both Evernote and Apple Notes, but if you have something else, those will work well. It's really just something that I'm going to give you time to write out your kind of action steps. So you just want to have somewhere to record that. And if you wouldn't mind, just turn off your cell phone and social media just to give me your undivided attention, because we spent a lot of time putting very thorough content in this presentation, and it's really, really good stuff. So the more you're focused on this, the more I promise it's going to benefit you and the business for the new year. It'll take, not sure exactly on time, at least 45 minutes, up to an hour and a half. So as I said, it's very, very thorough stuff. All right, so who am I and why should you listen to me? I'm the founder and CEO of Fence and Deck Marketers, and been doing digital marketing for about 10 years. And it's what I really love to do. That's why I created the business. It's what I like to do, what I was passionate about. And in the beginning, I was doing digital marketing for any business, but narrowed it down to fencing and decking just because we were getting good results for these types, but also a respect that I have for the industries, because I know it's just very hard work. I have experience with fencing up at a property in Pennsylvania. We have 300 acres of high deer fence, 10 foot high, and installing that was very, very challenging. So just know it's a ton of work and it's not for the faint of heart. Okay, so Fence and Deck Marketers, as I said, is just working with fencing and decking companies. If you do work with, these types of services, but you have additional ones, that would still be okay. But you have to be doing fencing or decking for us to work with you. And we like to be so specific because it allows us to really narrow down our processes and get things working perfectly for these particular niches, because it can be different if you go to other niches, non-home service or even other home service industries. So this is what we do. Our whole team is dedicated to these growing these types of companies. All right, so we'll get right into it. The first thing you got to do, to come up with your plan for the new year is really just set clear goals. You just have to do that. And here's just a quote, success is goals, all else is commentary, by Brian Tracy. If you're not setting goals for the new year, you're not going to get the results that you want. You might get kind of lucky, but it's nowhere near if you have them written down and have a clear path. And if you don't have that clear path, it's just kind of like you sitting in a sailboat with no wind, no sail, just floating around in the middle of the sea, which wouldn't be fun. And basically with your goals, that's when you're going to actually get some wind in the sails, and having them clear is going to propel that boat, propel you, and propel the business forward. And it really helps you build momentum and keep you clear, a clear strategy throughout the year, because, as everybody knows, you have this great idea and you want to do it. And then a week passes by, a month passes by, and sooner or later you forget it if you don't consistently come back to it. So that's what these goals are supposed to do, just to keep that momentum and keep your team motivated. If you have a business and nobody really knows where you're headed or what you want to do, it's going to slow things down. And the exact opposite is true. If you have clear goals, you explain it to them, you get them on the same page, then you're going to be growing, and everybody is going to be working on the same strategy. So this is a pretty crazy study and pretty crazy statistics. There was a Harvard study where they interviewed grads, and 84% of them had 0 specific goals. 13% had goals, but they weren't written down. And then 3% had clear written goals and the plans to accomplish them. So the 13% of the class had goals, were earning on average twice as much as that 84% that had no goals at all. But the really crazy statistic is that the 3% that had the clear written goals, they were actually earning as much as 10 times as much as everybody else put together. So if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does. It's something that we've gotten very serious about with our business, and it's really just helped us out a lot. Okay, so this is the first part of kind of keeping track of your business and all the statistics related to it. So what I'd like you to do is just write down each one of these. So kind of where you are with your average monthly revenue, the number of jobs you typically run each month, and then a couple other key metrics will be your average ticket. So how much your average job is, fencing or decking job, and then the conversion in the field. So your sales team, how often are they converting? So this is what I want you to think about. So your long-term vision. So I know if you're on this webinar, you're thinking about the new year, but think about 2025, that 3-year view. Think about where you want to go with the revenue of the business, how many trucks do you have, and the most important of these, being why. So it's great to say, you want to double or triple your business, the next year or next couple years. But as you know, as a business owner or being part of a business, things start to weigh you down, get very tough, and it gets hard to stick with it and really go after those goals effectively. So think about why, how's it going to affect you or your employees or your family? All of those really help you keep it clear of what you're working so hard for. Now that we're done with 2025 or finished thinking about that, now we'll stick to 2023. What is your actual goal for this year? I mean, do you have one in mind? Have you thought about it? How much revenue you want to make? For example, say you want to make, let's keep it nice and easy, 100,000 a month. Say your average ticket price. Basically, I want to dial in how many leads you'll get here. So say you're 100,000 a month. Average ticket's 5,000. In order to get that 100,000, you need 20,000 per month. 20 jobs per month. And then if you're closing at, say, a 50% rate, then that would need to be 40 leads that are coming in. So you would need 40 leads to reach that 100,000 a month if your average ticket price was 5,000. And depending on your closing ratio, what your goals are, you can kind of adjust from there. I will have some more examples of this going forward, but just kind of think about that. How many leads would it really take? Because a lot of people, I think, say, all right, I want to get to double my revenue, but do absolutely nothing different about how many leads come in. And if you don't have different lead strategies or new ones, you're not going to be able to hit that goal. So, all righty, let's keep going. All right, so I want to look at your overall marketing strategy. And I'm going to go through all kinds of good stuff that will help you get some more leads in. So this is what we call the accelerated growth model. So the main components of this are to drive leads, maximize the conversion of those leads, and then optimize the results of your overall strategy. So the first one is organic SEO. This is a really big one. Your SEO, that's all going to be about your rankings on Google, your website rankings, your Google Map rankings. This is critical. Most of the clicks will go to here. We'll click on the not the ads. So you need to make sure that when you're searching on Google, see where you're ranking, put in fence company in your city, neighboring cities, and see if you're ranking in there. Paid search, so that's going to be your Google ads, your Google local service ads, which are working really well. They're also known as Google guaranteed. You really want to have paid search because it allows you to reach out farther. go into new areas a lot. Or SEO can be a little bit more limited in that respect. And then also a database. You want to make sure you're keeping track of all your customers, putting their emails in your into some kind of CRM, and that way you can email them in the future, because down the road that can be very powerful. If you're growing that list week after week, month after month, year after year, you're going to have hundreds and thousands of leads that you can reach out to for different offers. So those are how you drive the leads, how you bring them to you. Once you get there, or once those are coming to your online assets, or maybe giving you a call, you need to maximize the conversion. So it all starts with the website. You need to have a website that's built to convert. And really, it should just look better than your competition. I mean, if you have a website, they're not crazy expensive. There's no reason not to have a website built that is just clearly better than the competition in my eyes, because it just easily pays for itself because of all those people that really are judging a book by its cover. They're going to see your website. If it's much better, you look like you would do a much better job, they're going to choose you. So it wouldn't take too many leads for you to make your money back on that. But it needs to be built to convert. It needs to have call to action. So if you want them to call you or do contact forms, there's a lot of ways they should be able to contact you. We'll get into more details on that in a second. Definitely offering free estimates. Everybody wants to see that. The next would be your reputation. So your Google reviews, your social media reviews. You can't have, if somebody Googles your business and they type in your business name and they just see like 2 out of 5 or even 3 out of 5, it's just going to look bad. You need to make sure those reviews are created frequently, so it looks good in the consumer's eyes, but also because it helps your Google rankings. And then the last one's gonna be automation. So when somebody submits a form, having a automatic message sent to them, you can do it with text if you have the right software. So email, text. If they want to chat via live chat on the website, that's really good. You just need to make sure you have someone that's on top of that. But a lot of people do want to be using text messaging. So being able to text the customer, send them a text when they fill it out, and then they can text you back, much more likely that they're going to convert or be able to schedule an appointment at the very least. And then, all right, so we got the leads coming in. We're focusing on converting them. Once we have that, we need to be able to optimize the results, meaning we can check how everything's working. And if it's not going well, you need to have the systems in place to be able to tell that. So your return on investment, you need to be able to track that, make sure whatever money you're putting in, you are getting more back out, of course. And then average cost per lead. Sometimes this isn't tracked very well. You want to see how much you're paying for those leads. So that way you can measure it and then decrease it over time by changing up your strategy. And your total ad spend. So this is kind of linked with your return. You just want to make sure you're not spending more than you're making. And I'm going to go through some tools to track all of these coming up. All right, so now that we went through all of those different strategies, different ways that you can bring in more leads or improve conversions, where do you think you need to focus most? Is there anything particular that I mentioned that you really stuck out to you? Just write that down if that's the case. All righty, let's keep going. So this is an example, just kind of a template, but it's so critical, as I was saying, to have your website set up properly. You need to, couple things. You need to have your logo on the top left. That's pretty common. You want to have a nice crisp logo, not pixelated. I can see some of these things. This is a picture, so that's why it's a little pixelated. But it needs to be crisp. Your social media buttons, put them up there. Your phone number needs to be up there nice and big so they can click it. And then a free estimate button too on the page, and actually in multiple places on the page. Somebody that's older viewing the website, make it painfully obvious for them. Another one is custom photos. So if you have, I would recommend, getting custom photos of your trucks, your crews, your guys working, guys or girls working on the jobs, maybe your completed jobs, nice looking fences or decks you put up. Really want to avoid the stock photos if you can, and just consistently take photos before and afters, and of your guys working on the job. But the whole goal here is really to help you stand out. If you're doing all these little things, your website looks much better. you're going to be ahead of the game, comparison to your competitors. So the website is the hub. I said it's important, but it's really just the hub for everything. So no matter where somebody hears about you, whether it's social media or YouTube or Facebook ads, eventually they're going to Google your business or go to your website and decide from there. So that's why you just have to have that dialed in. It should be the first thing that's done. So that way, no matter where they come from, they see your website and it's going to help them convert. All right, so as far as conversions, just to kind of break down, put into numbers, since I know everybody likes to hear some good numbers. Say you have 100 leads, doing some nice round numbers here. Your conversion rate's 30. You're not doing all that you can. You're not doing follow-ups. You're not doing automated follow-ups, or you're not following up the leads later on. Your website isn't built to convert. This is very, very realistic and very common, these numbers. I know they're rounded off, but something we see. So, that would be 30 of the jobs booked, 100 leads, 30%. Average ticket price, I said 4,000. So that's 120,000 that you would get from those jobs. But if you have the systems in place, all the follow-ups in place, all your software helping you out, doing a lot of things that can be done in the background, a conversion rate of 70 is absolutely possible. And from there, you have 70%, that's 70 jobs. Average ticket price is the same. That's $280,000. So, $160,000 difference just from having your conversion set up. And it's nowhere near that to set it up properly. So it's a good investment to make sure your conversion is working well. So how do we optimize these? Let's get into some of the specifics here. Okay, so these are just some elements to really increase that conversion. You want to be speaking to your target avatar. So you really want to define your customer, understanding their fears and frustrations. Those can be easy to do just because you're basically answering the questions that people have when you go out to meet them. And when you do that, you seem like the pro, they trust you more and they're more likely to choose you. Having authentic images, of the team, the owner, putting those all through the website so people can tell these are your jobs. They weren't just taken from some stock photo website. All kinds of different multimedia or video. So a very easy one to do is having like a welcome video from the owner, just explaining the business when they first get there. You can explain your different services and why they should be chosen versus the competition, different things that you do well that others don't. Social proof, I will be saying this the whole presentation because it's so important. You have to put the online reviews prominently on the website and really every single page on the website because each page is going to be a separate sales page depending on how they get there, what they type into Google. And some tools like that are Birdeye, Review Buzz. There's a lot more than that. But the basics, you need to make sure the phone number is there. It needs to be big, and contact forms need to be there. And then credibility can be added with authority symbols. So if you have an A+ rating with a Better Business Bureau or some kind of award through Angie's List, there's a lot out there. You can put that on the website to make yourself look better. And clearer call to actions, of course. If you have offers, so this can be done a lot with your Google ads, offering $500 off a fence installation, giving gift cards if they refer somebody to you. Those are going to entice them, help them, come to you more easily. And we talked about optimizing the website. It has to be mobile optimized. If your business if your website is not mobile optimized, not mobile friendly, you need to fix that immediately because you're missing like over half of the leads almost guaranteed because so many people are on their phones. The live chat, common one too, just have somebody that can chat with whoever comes to the website. They can put inquiries in through there. And if you have a way to book online, have a scheduling software, that saves a step of having to find a day or time with you. They can just book that way. Site speed is overlooked a lot, but it's really important because Google actually has that as a ranking factor. So if you have a very slow website, Google could actually lower your ranking and will lower your ranking if you have competitors that are faster. And then I talked about this, SMS and phone, being able to communicate with that customers that way is really important and convenient for them. Okay, so be real and authentic, just to kind of elaborate on this, have a picture of the owner on the About Us page, the team. You can put these on the home page too. You can put them on a lot of the pages. But it's always good when they click About Us, they see the owner, maybe a story about you, why you got into the business, helps you seem more trustworthy. You can just say, hi, I'm John Jones, CEO of XYZ Fencing and Decking. I started this business because, I've been doing it for so long and this is what I love to do, that kind of thing. But people like to know who they're working with. So that's why it's nice to have that personal touch. All right, so the media and multimedia, some examples of this. I talked about, the video of you explaining the brand or explaining the company, I mean. You can also, if you have a YouTube channel, putting videos, you should be putting videos on your YouTube channel and then embedding them on your website. If you got interviewed by a news station, that we see that kind of often, or every once in a while, I'd say. Somebody has a local news story about them. You can do video of your jobs. A lot of people find this stuff cool, seeing how a fence is created. You're going to have videos like that, or just explaining different things that you do. There's a lot of options for that. We actually did a whole webinar on just social media, and that covers basically everything you could think of. So if you want to see that, just go to the website, deckfencemarketers.com, and click the webinars link. And once you create these videos, just make sure you upload them to YouTube so you can share them easily. All right, so social proof. I told you I'm going to be consistently harping on this because it's so important. There's a lot of tools that will showcase, software tools that will showcase your reviews, really tons of them. And just an example, Bright Local is what we use. It allows you to pick like only the 5-star reviews or maybe 4 stars. And it allows you to choose which sources you want to pull reviews in from, and it combines them all and it automatically updates. And then it'll tell you with a little icon, this is from Google, this is from Facebook. It's adds a lot of trust, and regardless, I don't think very many people will use your business without checking the reviews first. So might as well put them out there and, just explain basically how great you are. All right. Okay, so talked on this, mobile friendly websites are a must. Just some statistics to really show how crazy it is. 90% of the world population uses mobile phones. So over 7 billion people, and that's just going to keep growing because people are on the go. So 3 out of 5 consumers search for local businesses on their smartphone. And I think it's like 80%, I think it's more than 80%, 85 or something. If somebody's looking for help, something for their home, they're going to at least do some kind of recon online to check the different businesses. So need to make sure they're doing it from their phone, that they can see you. And Google reported that 40% of mobile consumers turn to a competitor site if they had a bad mobile web experience. So if they were pinching and zooming like on the old school websites and can't even read what's on there, you're going to have a lot of issues, and they'll just go over to the next person on Google. Okay, so this is just a checklist. I'm going to be sending this out to you, all the materials and checklists and a lot of other stuff that I'll go over that's going to have here, so you don't need to write these down. This is just a checklist of everything that we've gone over. Having the phone number, authentic images, call to actions, two-way chat, mobile friendly, and a fast desktop and mobile website. Okay, so this is very easy to see if your SEO is doing well. All you have to do is go to Google and check, fence company or privacy fence or wood fence plus your city name to see where you're ranking. But don't get too excited if, say, you're sitting in your office and you do these searches and you come up first, because that's what you should be doing. If you're not, then you're in real trouble. But if that's one of Google's big ranking factors is proximity. So if you're very close to a business, say you're right outside your own office, it's going to bring up your business because you're so close to it. Google wants to find the most convenient source for their customers. So it's a good idea to be outside of your city, and you can search for your home city from outside of it. If you're on the job in a different city, but in your service area, just type in, fence company. This one's Newark, Delaware, client here, and just see where you're coming up. Also, aside from these different keywords you can try, you want to make sure your brand is coming up, your company name is coming up when you type in your company name. So if you type in ABC Fencing and Decking, make sure that you're the one that comes up first and not some competitor. That should be the easiest to do unless you have a very generic name, but there's ways to overcome it regardless. Okay, so does SEO still matter? There's a lot of people, for whatever reason, they start to wonder if it's kind of going down, because there's so many paid ads options. But these are some statistics. Rather than just me telling you, I'll show you exactly how many people are using or are clicking on these different listings. So 71% of clicks go into the map pack, which is these 3 listings right here, and then the website results underneath. So 71% go there. And then the vast majority of those, 67%, go to the first 5 listings. So the map pack and then the first 2 website listings. So SEO is crucial. Not to mention, there's huge companies I'm sure everyone's heard of, like Yelp or Angie's List, Home Advisor, that just spend millions and millions of dollars on SEO to outrank you, outrank the businesses. So that's another easy way to tell that how critical SEO really is. Of course, it still matters. You can't rely on pay-per-click alone. If you're using pay-per-click, that's great. You need to be careful with using that. I'm going to get into more detail of how to optimize that properly, but you need to have SEO dialed in if you want any kind of long-term strategy for the business. Okay, so these are specific things that you should do for your on-site optimization. So for your website, we're going to go a little more detail of what you should have on your website, how it should be organized. So you want to have good content. Google keeps rolling out more and more updates, being pickier and pickier with their content. You can't just throw something up there that just doesn't make any sense or has a million keywords stuffed in there. It has to be nice, original content. You can also have multimedia, so have videos or really a lot of things you could put on there to improve that on-page time. So Google doesn't want to rank results high that are just bouncing. If somebody comes to the website and just quickly leaves, that's a bad signal to Google. So having video there keeps them on there longer and will help your rankings. This is a big one. You need to have pages for each of your services. So you need to sit down and think about every service you do and every service you want work for, even a little bit. I just recommend putting it on there, in case you need it down the line, or anything that you're willing to do. For the most part, put that on your website as a separate page. So if you do, vinyl fence, wood fence, you do privacy fences, chain link, each one of those is a separate page on the website and needs to have 1,000 words of content or more. With cities, so I'm sure everyone knows the cities they're willing to go to and the ones they're not. Each city you are willing to go to should be a separate page on the website. Call them city pages or service area pages. That's going to be 1,000 words of content as well, just talking about service you offer in that city. Unique content, you do not want to duplicate content. I see this fairly often, surprisingly. Common one is for city pages. They have the same 500 words of text, and the title says, fencing company in Baltimore, Maryland, and they say Baltimore, Maryland through the paragraph text, and they go create one for Columbia, Maryland, and just change out Baltimore for Columbia, and it's the exact same thing. Google does penalize for that now, so you need to make sure it's completely unique. So keyword in the title in H1, this gets a little bit more specific. So if you have a web developer, this would be something they're going to understand a little bit more. But there is a title tag for each page that you need to make sure you have your keyword in there, whatever you're trying to rank for. So that's what's going to show on Google, is that title tag. So if you're talking about wood fences in Baltimore, Maryland, that should be in the title. and the H1, which is HTML. That's the language used for building websites, or one of them. And you need to make sure there's only one H1 and it has a keyword in there. The meta description is going to be displayed on Google just like the meta title. You want to make sure that's got a compelling sales position on there, so they are more likely to click it. And commonly overlooked is having just your name, address, and phone number in the footer. You need to have that there because that links your Google listing to your website. If you don't have those combined, then Google is going to have a hard time understanding that this website is for this business. So on top of that, blog posts. So you want to make sure your service pages are set, your city pages, and then you have ongoing blog posts, because Google does not want to see stagnant websites. They want to see that you're consistently updating it and posting content that people actually want to see. And then of course the page speed, we talked about that. There's a lot of ways to do it. That's very technical in most cases. So definitely need a developer for that one. Okay, so the great thing about SEO is it's going to be your lowest cost per lead. So just as an example, you can see right here, $9 per lead, whereas for a fence installation, it kind of varies, but 20 or more than likely. But it's also going to have the highest close rate. So if somebody clicks on your Google listing or website, they're going to be more likely to go with you because it's not through an ad. They're not instantly skeptical. Like, you earn that position, you're in the top of the organic results. It takes time to get there. There's no denying that. It depends on the business and how established the domain is, how old the domain is, how good the website is. But it will take more time to get those rankings, because you do have to earn them in Google's eyes instead of just paying for it like pay-per-click Google ads. This is an example just where you want to be. This is a client, they do all these different types of fencing, as I'm sure you guys do, or decking. So we have separate pages for every type of fence that they do. And that allows them to rank for these different keywords. Okay, so dialing in your on-site optimization a little bit more. I talked about the H1s and the title tags. With HTML, that coding language, you do have H1, H2, all the way to H6, but the H3 and H2 need to have other keywords you want to rank for. And those can be separate in different paragraphs that you have of text. So as I was saying, about 1,000 words of content, it's going to be broken out into different paragraphs. Each one of those paragraphs should have a title on it. And one that's important too is geotagging your images. So if you just took a bunch of great images from a job, rather than uploading them to the website as IMG 123, IMG 124, all the way down the line, rename them as, fence company, fence-company -Baltimore-Maryland, fenced installation, Baltimore, Maryland. Rename them different things you want to rank for. And the alt image text is just a way you can classify your images. So you can include keywords in there as well. All right, so you have the on page, which is what we've been going over, everything that you can see on the website. And then the off page is stuff that's behind the scenes. Your Google listing, first things first, you got to make sure Google business profile is claimed and optimized. You got to fill out all the information on the back end to make sure you explain exactly what you want to rank for. Citations, so these are adding your information to directories. So there's tons of them out there, Yelp, Facebook, anything that displays business information is going to be a citation. And there's hundreds and thousands of them. So you need to use tools like BrightLocal or Yext to really see make sure your business name, your address, your phone number is correct on all these websites and matches your website, because that's what Google does to fact check. They look at these websites. If your information is all the same across these websites, they're going to feel more comfortable ranking you. There's tools to build these online reviews rather than just sending the link. These are just a couple here. Building authoritative links back to your website from other websites. So I'm going to get into this a little bit more, but basically backlinks are when you have a website basically linked to yours. Common example, say you're searching something on your phone, you're reading a paragraph of text on some article, the blue text is there. for like it's highlighted and there's blue text. You click it, you go to another website. That's a backlink. That's what you want to have going to your website. Once you create your on-site, your blog posts, your good content, you can syndicate that content by using press releases. There's a lot of tools for that too. Sharing those blog posts is a great way to get some backlinks too. Okay, so as I said, once you have everything built out on your website, from there, the battle is really in the links. So you need to get quality ones. There's a lot of resources out there where you could pay people to get you links that just do a terrible job and will get spammy ones that actually hurt your website. So you need to make sure you're building links from legitimate websites with good authority and also relevant to your industry, fencing or deck. Okay, so going even deeper, your Google Business Profile, the on-page we already covered. Google Business Profile, once you have it claimed, popular tool is Yext. So Yext is a way to get a ton of citations all at once. You don't have to manually do it like you do for other software. So they'll take care of that. And if you change, say you move addresses, you go to Yext, you put the new address in, and then it will automatically update all those websites at once. Data aggregators, also important. So these are big websites that other websites go to if they need data. So if somebody's creating a new direct business website where they want to display businesses, they can go to these aggregators to get fresh data. And there's a lot of these websites that update their information based off of these. So if they're incorrect, that means all these websites are going there, getting data that's incorrect themselves. So you need to make sure it's proper there. There's about 5 or 6 of them that you can do, and a popular tool to accomplish that is BrightLocal. All right, so having a system for online reviews is really important, and you can automate it. So there's tools in place that will, send out a email or text message asking them to leave a review on your Google listing, and there's tools that'll just basically do that for you. Adding those new citations on an ongoing basis is important. That's going to build those backlinks we want. Talk about the blog posts. With your backlinks, ideally you get do follow backlinks. Those are more power in Google's eyes. So if you get a do follow versus a no follow, that's going to have more power and help your rankings more. You can embed your maps into your website. So that's really important, especially to let Google know, linking your business in your website and the different areas you do work in. Putting those maps on your website should be a priority. Again, I'm gonna have a bunch of these checklists, but this is all of them here. We've already went through all this stuff, the keywords in the title, having different pages for your services, for your cities, all the different services you do. Also unique content, 1,000 words of unique content on every page, checking where you're ranking. So typing in, fence installation, your city, deck repair, deck installation, seeing where you're ranking so you know what needs to be improved on, and always creating new content. Okay, so any takeaways that you add here, just want to give you a second, anything that kind of shot out to you that you can just write down, anything that really stuck out to you that you could kind of go back to later, because I know I'm going through a lot really fast. Feel free if you wanted to share it, that's fine too, but I'll give you a little bit of time here. Are you ranking on Google Maps? This is so easy to do. You can do it so quickly. Just go on to Google and see where you're ranking and check these rankings from different areas. Just try it out, see where you're ranking at. If you do fences, type in wood fence, vinyl fence, any type of fence you do. If you're a commercial fencer, put those in there. Just specify the city and see where you rank. This is where the majority of the leads come from. So if you're not in there, you need to make sure you are. All right, so play the same game again. Do Google Maps matter? I'm sure you could guess that they matter at least somewhat, or else I wouldn't be mentioning it. But to go down into the statistics, rather than just listening to me or taking my word for it, 45% of the clicks and calls do go in this Google Map pack here. There's only 3 that are allowed. And if you recall, there's about 67 or 70 go to all of this, including the websites. So you can see the vast majority, about half of all the clicks go to here. So you need to be ranking there, and it needs to look legitimate with good reviews. So, yep, they matter. These are just some examples. So, 1 month, 71 calls, 60 calls. These are just the easiest calls to get. That's where you're going to get most of the leads, as I keep saying. And I'll keep harping on that. But you can improve this with those city pages, the citations, all these things. You just need to get those rankings up, and then the calls will come and really help the business, have better lead flow. Okay, so this is the formula for getting in the 3-pack. It's what we use. The citations, talked about that. This crazy drawing here shows a bunch of them. There's tons. Yahoo, you can see Yelp, local.com, Super Pages, Bing. A lot of them you never heard of, I'm sure. So you need to set these up immediately. Check using tools like Bright Local to see where your current status is, and then from there, going and fixing them. And you can use that tool like Bright Local, or you can use Yext to do that. There's other tools as well. Those are just what we choose to use. But the reviews, having a system, get reviews, you really should be trying to get one after every single job. That's going to help you grow your rankings and also look better to new customers. And then the on-page SEO, we went through that in detail. Make sure you get that dialed in. Okay, so another checklist, everything we went through on the Google Maps. You got to verify it, optimize it, and you got to add your citations. You got to fix your data aggregators, check your reviews, how many you have, against your competitors too. If your competitors have hundreds and you have 20, it's not going to look as good. And then have that strategy for getting them, after each job. And then you can post to Google. It used to be called Google My Business, but it's Google Business Profile now. You can post there weekly and responding to questions they have. There's an FAQ section. So if there's common questions that people have, you can answer them there. Okay, so now that we talked about SEO, we're going to go into more paid marketing opportunities and the best ways to utilize these. So the first one that's really, really powerful is Google Local Service Ads. You can see these are at the top here. Sometimes they're called Google Guaranteed. With these, you're paying per lead. So you tell Google, say you only want fence installs or deck installs. They will do their best to only bring you those. Sometimes it doesn't work out and you get a bad lead. Google will record the call and listen to it. And if they can tell that it was a bad lead, they will not charge you. But you also have the option to dispute it manually. So if you still are charged for that, you can go into the app, dispute it, and you get your money back. Costs are very low for these types of leads right now. It's going to increase over time because it's working so well for so many. So I highly recommend getting on board with these. Google Ads. So these, you really need to be careful. Most people do these wrong. And what I mean by that is they don't pair what they're trying to sell. They don't have their text in the ad linked to their landing page and their offer. They'll have one ad that's just linked to the homepage of the website, rather than having like a very specific sequence. So they see an offer on the ad, say they're trying to get a vinyl fence, they should see a vinyl fence ad and then go to a landing page talking about all the vinyl fences you've done and how great you are. So that's something that can be very easily missed. But PPC, Google Ads, it's really important to use for if you want to really expand your territory. So SEO does have limitations for how big your net can be. I mean, you're only going to be able to rank so far. You're not going to rank, 50 miles from your city for your Google listing. So with paid ads, you can target wherever you want to go and you pay to get to the top. If you have the right strategy, you can control the pay per lead and cost per click to bring in jobs that way too. And you can record it. If you're tracking everything, you can make sure that you're actually getting a good return. And also, 30% go to the ads. So you can see that although the majority go to SEO, there's still 30% that are clicking the ads, and those are at the very top. So there are people that are clicking them, and that gives you the opportunity to display multiple times on Google. Okay, so you need to really check and audit to see if your foundation overall online is strong. With your search engines, is your SEO, your organic results, are they looking good? Are they in good shape? Is your map listing done right? Is it ranking? Are you using pay-per-click? Do you need to be using pay-per-click? Do you need more leads? Are you posting often to social media? Are you posting multiple times per week on there and sharing the different jobs that you do? And then online directories, the citations, do you have those filled out? Do you have any clue if that's done properly? If not, there's tons of tools like Bright Local to see this. Okay, so it's pretty common to see people be scared of Google Ads or just hate them or just can't stand them, think they're just a waste of money. And they absolutely can be a waste of money if you don't do it properly. So I just want to show you kind of how they can drive positive ROI. Say 224 leads, you're converting about 40%, that's going to be 90 different jobs. Did a lower ticket price, say it was 1,000, that's going to be 90,000 ROI. So 10x compared to you can see here, the 9,100 that's invested. So a 10x ROI when done properly. It's just one example, but when you have this tracked properly, you can always tell and see if you need to drop it. If it's not working, you need help fixing your campaigns. Without measuring it, you're not going to know, but measuring it properly and doing it properly, you can absolutely have a good return. Okay, so going to why they fail in a little bit more detail. So when people say they don't work, it's definitely a myth, but they don't work for some if they don't know what they're doing, just like anything else. So one thing is your ad groups. You can have multiple ad groups, and you should. So depending on the service you're offering, you should have a different ad group for those different keywords you're ranking for. So if you do fencing, decking, vinyl, wood fence, you don't want to have one ad group for all these. You want to separate them out. Another common one is specific text ads. So if you're trying to sell wood fences, the ad that displays on Google should be talking about wood fences, and then the landing pages should be mentioning wood fences as well. Landing pages can be done in a couple different ways. We use it with third-party software. We create the pages and we track them with a separate phone number, separate contact forms, so we know if leads come in, they're from those Google ads, and everything is just linked together properly. Also, you don't have a strong call to action or offer. So if you can offer some kind of deal, $500 off a fence installation, something like that, that's going to help entice them. You can include that in the ad that people see on Google. That's going to help you stand out, especially when there's 4 different results. If somebody says, hey, I can save $500 with these guys, why not go with them? Okay, so diving in a little bit more with the local service ads. This is an example for Los Angeles. With these ads, there are some things you have to do to get verified. So as you might have heard, Google Guaranteed, they're kind of used interchangeably with local service ads. But basically with that, Google is guaranteeing that these contractors are vetted. They've done a background check on them. They're good companies and they're doing things in the best interest of the customer. Maybe not that 3.4 guy who knows what he's doing. But all kidding aside, you need to have those reviews to rank. You want to have ideally 4.5 or higher. Under 3 or lower is just unacceptable. You need to fix that. Consistently getting them over time is going to help you out. And there's tools to send out an email or a text and get a response. If they give you a lower than 4 or 5, it'll still ask for their feedback, but it won't give them the option to put it on Google, so you don't get screwed over that way. But with these, Google does record the call, as I was saying, and most of the times they are able to not charge you if the lead's not legitimate, but you got to keep a close eye on that. And you also have to record if you book calls and keep keep track of it all through the app. But that's in one thing. I mean, that's really the beauty of local services ads is you only pay for what you want. So, I mean, if it's not what you said you wanted, you get your money back. Only if it's a good lead is when you're gonna have to pay for them. That's kind of the difference between that and cost per click. So here's a checklist here of all the different things we went over. Again, I'll send this over to you after. Okay, so anything here that stood out to you? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed one of the comments earlier. Anything that stood out, what you learned, what you noticed, what you might not be doing properly, make a note of that. So as we continue to throw all this different information at you, you can remember at the end, just write that down for me, and feel free to share it as well. See, the GMB, really insightful. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of things that you can do for GMB that can be overlooked that will help you do better than competitors. All right, so I said I was going to go through everything. That's what I meant, and that's what we're about to do. So we went through SEO, we went through Google Ads, now on to social media. So if you haven't heard, social media is pretty important and pretty common these days, between Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. All these things are just growing like crazy. And it's distracting, obviously, for some people, but it's great for business owners because people are going here. And if you put different content on there, it allows them to see it. And good news is they're consistently going there every day for the most part. So it helps you stay top of mind. So we recommend, 3 to 4 posts per week with legitimate content, any kind of testimonials or past jobs. Again, my webinar that goes through just social media stuff is going to have way more content on that. But I'm going to go through some stuff here too. So social media is going to lead to more repeat business and more referrals. So start with referrals. If you're posting consistent, you're posting great jobs that you do, have videos of yourself, content where people can kind of resonate with and want to look at. For example, with fencing or decking, if you have a really nice job, you put in a beautiful privacy fence, put that on there. So that way the people that are following you, if they have a friend that goes to Facebook and said, of a fencing company that you'd recommend, you can say, hey, yeah, check these guys out, send them to your page, and get referrals that way. Repeat business is a big one. So if they've already used you, try to get them to follow your business page. And then if you offer other services, you can, send those, offer those to them too. So when the time comes, they get a fence and then they want a deck, you can take care of both of them for them. And it's great because they're going to be on social media. So if you have new content being posted there, they're going to see it, and it'll help keep you top of mind. So some statistics, I like to always go through the numbers, so it makes sense. These numbers are actually wrong, but it's not 1.6 billion, it's 4.48 billion users on social media across all different social media apps. So got to ask yourself, are you active on there? If not, you're losing out on all these opportunities from not only these users seeing you, but they also have friends. Average user has 135 friends that they can reference you or refer you. And they check in 6 to 9. I think that's low too, to be honest. I think a lot of people go in a lot more than that. That might be just after dinner for most people. So you just want to make sure you're posting that content so when they do go on there, they see you. And if you have it consistently posted, that's going to satisfy the algorithm, which will put you up towards the top. So very, very important. Okay, so this is a checklist here. Again, I'll throw this, shoot this over to you. All right, so we've talked about SEO, pay-per-click, conversions, social media, but the biggest marketing issue fencing and decking companies are facing is really going to be unconverted leads. So people come to your website, or they call you, and you don't pick up or you don't respond very fast. So 50 to 60% of inbound leads are left unconverted, and 90% of the web forms fail to convert. So that's a huge problem, obviously. If you miss their call, you don't have somebody answering the phone, can lead to tons of missed opportunities. If you're not texting them or emailing them, letting them know you received it, you're going to get back to them. You don't want to take an hour, 30, 20 minutes. You want to call back within 2 minutes, as fast as you possibly can, because there's just so many other options out there that they can reach out to, and they will. If they take forever, or if you take forever to contact them, they're going to move on. People are very impatient, as we all know. So you just need to account for that. So the leads that go 15 minutes go cold extremely fast. You don't want to wait that long. And you need to be following up many times. So not just calling them back and be like, oh, that was a bad lead. It was whatever. If you call back once and that's it, you're just asking for trouble. You need to call back multiple times, and trying to get a hold of them that way. And, the quicker you respond to them, the quicker or more likely they are to actually pick up your call or answer your text. And 5 to 7 times is what we say. And you can do that with automations. Having your automation set up properly, so send an email or a text is really going to increase the likelihood you'll get that scheduled call. And keep talking about this. I think pretty much everyone likes to use text messaging, and the same thing goes for business. If you have that option to text them versus a phone call or email, you're going to be giving them exactly what they want. I would much rather text somebody. Sometimes I feel like calling, sometimes I don't, depending on what I need. But if I knew the option was to text, I'd probably never call. But most businesses don't do it. So that's why I call. And a lot of people are like that as well. All right, so this is a solution for these problems. You really need to be utilizing software to help you automate this process. If you have automations like emails that go out within the first 2 minutes, or sending them a phone call or reminding you to call them within the first 2 minutes, these are all possible with different softwares. If you have those 5+ touch points, it's going to help you out. The statistics show you're more likely to get that job. So the two-way text messaging, the emails, the phone numbers, all of these should be in play to help you get those leads. All right, so now we're going to be going on to how you really track your ROI and how you make sure you're doing a good job with your marketing. You want to be keeping track of how many leads you're getting every month, how much you're spending each month, how much revenue is generated off this marketing effort, to make sure it's worthwhile and it's doing what you're hoping it will. So Google Analytics is your best friend. It's free. You can install it on your website. It tracks everything to do with your website, how many people are coming to it, bounce rate, how long they're staying on each page, all kinds of stuff. You need to have some kind of ranking software to see where you're currently ranking. And as you do different SEO optimizations, how those keywords are improving or declining, so so you're not just making a change and hoping for the best and have no idea if it worked or not. Call tracking is a really, really cool one here, because as I was saying with Google Ads, if you have a separate landing page for your Google Ads, then you can put a separate phone number on there. It won't confuse Google because you don't even tell Google you have that page. So they have no idea it exists, but the users will still go to the landing page. They have a completely different number. If they click to call, you can track that. If they just dial it on their phone, that's still recorded as a lead. So you can really just be positive that where your leads are coming from. And sometimes, you can ask the client, which is a good idea too, but they might say Google, even though they first heard from you from social media or some other avenue. So these help you make sure that you have the right things being tracked. Okay, so here's another checklist. Okay, you got to make sure you have your Google Analytics, your rank tracking, call tracking, some kind of dashboard showing all your KPIs, and a CRM to track the leads. Okay, so already went through this. Now we're kind of winding down those. We just finished going through all of these. So you got to have the 3 pillars, basically, 3 fundamentals. You need to drive leads. So you need to have your SEO in place. You need to have your paid search. You need to have your database set up and consistently being updated. And then you need to be maximizing for conversions. Excuse me. Having your website dialed in correctly, having it optimized for whatever you want to rank for, fencing your deck in keywords, your reputation, consistently getting new reviews over time, automating, having automation is your best friend, and then optimizing. You got to record what you're doing, how it's doing, so you can update it and improve it. All right, so this is just what the checklist looks like. As I said, I'll be sending this over, but I do have nice lists here for you that really, it's going to be extremely helpful just to realize where you're at and where you want to go and what needs to be changed. So you'll have that checklist, and I'll send that over. And if you do have anything that you want help with, just type in "Let's Talk" in the comments, and be happy to reach out to you, or you can contact us through the website or give me a call. It's all on deckfencemarketers.com. So at any time, feel free to do that. All right. The last thing I would say is all the stuff we've gone through. I hope it's not giving you a headache. As I said, you'll have the recording so you can go back, but as you go through this, there's usually things that kind of catch your eye. So if you could just write down your top 3 action items, the top things you want to make sure that you do that you really think would help the business the most. You got to start somewhere. Even if you found 20 things or 100 things that you wish you were doing better, you want to find the 3 that you think would help the most and put those down. Okay. So what we've covered here, you need to set clear goals and targets for the year. Absolutely critical. If you don't, you're just going to be kind of floating around that sailboat like we showed you the picture of. You want to get some wind in those sails to reach these goals and do big things with the business. You need to have the KPIs established and tracking established to have those outcomes, and then map out your plan. So again, I have some resources coming to you. I'm going to show you them in a second. They're going to help you plan this out a lot better. This was more just to kind of give you an overview to see what caught your eye, to see what you could be missing. But setting your budget, the channels, and important trends, and all of this to give you massive, massive success in the new year and going forward. Okay, so we have a lot of cool materials that we created that's really going to help this be a lot easier. So we went through this. I wanted to show you all the different things, but we also created 2 very, very great workbooks that are going to allow you to go through, and rather than remembering all this or even going through the webinar, it might be a good idea to go through to get a refresher. But I want to show you this workbook that I'm going to send out to everybody I think is just fantastic. So you're going to go here. You can go through the first page, your key insights and actions. You can go through your goals and targets, your foundation, things that you need to act on as soon as possible or in the new year. This kind of goes through all the different strategies we were talking about. What is it called? Sorry, the goals and budget allocation worksheet. So here you can put in this here. I have another spreadsheet that I'm going to say that will calculate this automatically, but it's just good to give you an overview of what's going to be included. Saying your annual revenue goal and your target, how much you want to make per month. Just divide that by 12, and then dial in and put those numbers exactly what we were saying that we were doing earlier. And then what's going to be required to hit those goals, how many leads you need, how many you're getting currently, what you're not doing that you could be adding to get more leads or better conversions. And then here's just some goals you can enter. This one's here is kind of dialing in your target avatar. So figuring out who you're selling to, stop being so general, and saying just a homeowner. If you're trying to sell to higher end clients, or if you're selling to city clients or rural, whatever, dialing that in. And there's just a ton of stuff here that will really help you understand what your target audience is, your target avatar, and your message. So what is your unique offering? What do you offer that others don't? You can put those in here, and the benefits that you offer to your target customers, things that they will resonate with. We give some examples too to help make it even easier. Your website, please, please, please get this updated one way or another. Get it done properly, because it's the starting point, and all your future marketing efforts are going to be only as good as your website is for the most part. So it needs to be nice. KPI tracking, we talked about that, having your KPIs in place for using Google Analytics. And then the checklist is here. So this is the checklist I was talking about here. I'm going to send this to everybody. These are just a in-depth view of everything, the digital dominance method. And here you can dial in the top 3. We were just talking about those. You can enter them right here if you'd like. And really just a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go through it all, because a lot of this is pretty much what we just went through, but it's all written here. You can have the video, but this is a more compact version and a better version that you can just go through, print out, or put on your tablet, whatever. All right, so this is pretty cool here. You can map out the ad groups you want to do, group ones, the ad groups titles, the keywords you want to rank for, the landing pages, making sure you're doing those, the offers that are going to be on those landing pages. Really, really cool stuff here. And if you want to have help with this, of course, we can help you with it. All this stuff you are hearing here, we do handle it and take care of this for you. So this whole webinar is to provide enough resources to do it, to really get you started. And if you're committed, you can do it yourself. But if you do need help, we're here for you and can take care of that, even with that corny picture. You can go to contact us by going to the website, or just calling us on that number there. And the last thing I want to show you, so this is actually an Excel spread, or a Google Sheet spreadsheet. You could export it to Excel if you wanted, but this actually is this will actually update based on your numbers. So if you put in 1 million per year, it'll divide that. You can put in your conversion rate, 40. It'll update all these numbers, and average cost per generated lead, budget required, a lot of stuff that'll save you a lot of time for having to do it yourself. And it just keeps going on and on. Even more information here, so you can specify that. These are all linked together. This is linked to that first page, so all these are interconnected, and it'll allow you to see how much you should be spending each month. And also will include your online marketing, if you have offline marketing, repeat business. So say you want to spend, break it down by different types of marketing, you can do that here. Just update these numbers. So say it was 60, and then you wanted to do whatever, just examples. You can separate it that way. Let's see. And here you can break it down by different types. So your SEO, your pay-per-click, your display, your retargeting, all these can be broken down, and by month, so you can dial it in. So I know this is a lot, but this is what you need to do to get it dialed in the right way. And average cost per lead by source, you can put these numbers in here and just see kind of an average of what you're doing. And then the average ticket, how much the jobs are. All right, and to get even more dialed specific, you can have set apart each month for how you want to promote or focus on for your website, your email marketing, your social media marketing, your SEO. So in pay-per-click in January, say you want to get more fence installations, so focus those on January. Same with the SEO. So you'll be generating ads for fence installations, SEO, you'll create blog posts around fence installations, social media, you can talk about New Year. These can get a little bit more in depth, of course, but email marketing, sending out an email to your list, and then display marketing too with Google Ads. And I think there's a couple more. So this is the same thing just with decks if you're doing decks. And this is for your email strategies. You can specify it this way, what you want to send out an email offering, 10% off fence installations if you wanted, fence repairs, let's see, fence removal, or maybe they have a sagging fence or damaged fence, all these different specials. If you have it here, it makes it much easier to then create the sequences, the emails, and schedule them ahead of time rather than having to do it every month. You could just do it all at once, really. Okay, here's some more special offers you could do. So different services, 24-hour services, you have an offers for each one of those. And then here's even disclosures. So you can't combine it with other offers. Coupon is present at time of payment. You could do it at time of estimate too. So you can kind of account for that in your what you charge. So you don't get beat up as bad as you want or you don't want. And here's some more disclosures here. Same thing goes for decking, a bunch of different options. So as you can see, there's just a ton of information here. This is all given to you for free for coming to the webinar. And you're basically, once we send the link to you, you can just make a copy of it and then fill it out however you want. But this is something that could absolutely transform your business and get very organized with what you want to do. So I want to make sure we provided value with the webinar, but didn't just leave you hanging with your notepad if I went too fast. I want to make sure you're covered with this too. So send that out, listen to the webinar and repeat if you want, or just go through this. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But those will be coming to you. If you have any questions, and we do all this stuff, as I said, we do websites, SEO, Google Ads, Facebook ads. If you want to contact us, this is the number. You can go to deckfencemarketers.com and submit a web form there, and be happy to speak with you. And if there are any questions you have, just let me know here. Otherwise, we're about to sign off for this webinar.